Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI360. I'm your host, Rohan, and I'm really excited to have Mark on as our guest today. Mark's been a longtime collaborator and friend, and I'm excited to have him on the pod. Mark, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ron. Happy to be here. Quickly, my name is Mark Szarka, AI leader here in the firm. Wear a few hats. First is defining the way that we'll be doing work at Deloitte using AI at the core of our delivery, so helping transform our business, as well as a leader in hybrid AI, and we'll talk about that here in a minute.
So, Mark, I know just coming right out of the gate, you said hybrid AI. What is hybrid AI, and what role do devices specifically play in hybrid AI?
Yeah, hybrid AI. So that is it's something that we've actually been playing with even since last summer, which is the theory around these models are getting more performant and the compute's increasing, right? So can you not only focus on bringing AI workloads up in the cloud, but down in the device? So we've been doing this since last summer. And hybrid AI is the theory of, can we have a world in managing the world of interplay of distributed compute so I can have enough workloads up in the cloud, but also start to bring things down to the device. So you could actually start to realize benefits such as cost reduction, enhanced privacy, reduced latency. And really, AI on device isn't new. There's been vision models, there's been speech to text models. It's been going around for a long time, but there's a lot more interest now with these more memory intensive language models that we can start unlocking that new use cases on devices.
So you kind of hinted at this. What are some of the drivers for why hybrid AI is finally taking off? You said that we've had these models on device for a long time, but what makes this moment different?
Yeah, so there's a ton of investments and there's a ton of investment, a ton of research going into not only can I focus on taking a GPU to be much larger and much more performant up in the cloud, but also the same thing's happening on the device. So can we actually increase and double the number of TOPS? So basically the number of calculations that can happen on a device year after year. And that same theory of Moore's law is applying down to the device level as well. So things that I couldn't do on a device last year with what's coming out in the next couple of months and even the years after, the compute will continue to increase on the devices, as well as the research that's going in from refocusing on, can I train a large language model to actually, can I focus on making the inferencing of that large language model more performant? So things such as, can I do compression techniques? So something like quantization, which basically means, can I shrink the number of compute points or decimal points inside of a neuron, inside of a language model? Can I make that smaller and smaller? Can I change things like model architecture so that the number of attention heads that occur in a model, or the types of things such as sparsity, which is, do I actually need all the layers inside of a model at any given time? So those are very technical things, but the focusing on inferencing efficiency and increasing compute is making all of this happen, in addition to the fact that AI itself isn't really cheap, but ISVs and others are really incentivized to start bringing workloads down to the devices so that there can be a balanced interplay between bringing feature richness and as well as efficient economics.
So, Mark, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of some early use cases and their benefits?
Yeah, so a few of those use cases they're obvious, and we've already started to play around with is, could we actually bring AI coding onto the device? So could we actually take an IDE plugin and build those and actually be able to run code implementations? So like a Python, JavaScript, Java, etc., and actually be able to do the inferencing locally. That's one clear, obvious one. I could also start to, we actually also built things such as IT service support, IT service management on the device. So rather than needing to go out and service tickets and go out to a call center, you can actually start to serve and manage PC support directly on your laptops. Those are just a couple of examples of productivity type of things. But you can start to think about and extrapolate that to, if I was a doctor, or if I needed to update patient information real time, I could actually just speak directly to my phone. It would update that on the phone. Don't have to worry about that information leaving the device, but also keeps doctors more productive, and things like field service. I'm out in the field, no connectivity, and actually ensure that those technicians maintain productivity throughout their entire job. So that there's a whole range of industry things. There's a whole range of use cases, a whole range of productivity use cases, and that will continue to compound as ISVs start to increase their features too.
This sounds a lot like offline maps, but for all of AI, which is incredible. So, what are some of the success factors to start getting this right and maximize the value of hybrid AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one thing that we think is, important beyond anything is the orchestration of all of this. So thinking about the analogy of, we went from data centers to the cloud, that all happened because there was a platform to compute on. right? Similarly here, there needs to be the interplay in managing between the device variables. So there's a bunch of different chip makers, there's a bunch of different models, everyone's gonna has a different range of devices. Rather than ISVs needing to build for each individual variable, there will need to be the orchestration component of not only how do you provide and serve up that service to a ISV or a user or someone building, there needs to be the ability to actually serve that and manage all those variables in an intelligent way. And there's going to be things like dynamic data, dynamic inferencing, et cetera, to be able to bring this all to life. And we see that as being a key to unlock all of this.
That's incredible. We asked some of our participants this a few times about predictions, especially for newer areas. I think you qualify as well with hybrid AI. So what are your 3 predictions for hybrid AI over the next couple of years?
It seems obvious, but there will be an increasingly disproportionately higher volume of AI features available to those companies, those users, those as end users, or even anyone that has a higher compute device, right? So there's legacy devices, but that increasing set of features, and that will all be driven by orchestration, will unlock who actually has access to those features because of the economics. Now, that ties to the second point, which is the interplay between the AI features from ISVs and others, as well as will tie directly to the OEMs and device refresh cycles, because there will be an interplay there of the chicken or the egg supply demand equation of we'll have to monitor that. But as start to build in more and more, the demand for the increased set of compute down at the device will increase that refresh cycle. And then lastly, just the continued monitoring of the shift to the importance of inference. We'll start to see some really interesting changes in model architectures down for the smaller set of compute devices. So not the GPU racks out in the cloud, but down for the device, you'll have models that will have a quarter of the footprint, same sort of outputs. It's the interplay between power, speed, and accuracy to be able to balance all of this. So it'll be really interesting, very fast-moving space, but we're very excited about what's coming ahead of us.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, thanks so much for being on AI360. I'm really excited about your predictions, and I'm sure we'll have you back for a future episode.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rohan. Thank you for having me here today.